So obviously we've been getting a lot of news lately on Jedi Survivor. IGN's been sharing a heap of information, and we've also obviously got some of the trailers that came out a few months ago. And something that I've picked up is that it does seem like Respawn have actually subtly fixed one of the main issues that was prevalent in Jedi Fallen Order. And I'm going to be explaining that to you guys today because I think this is going to be an absolute game changer for Jedi Survivor. Now, one of the biggest issues, at least for me personally, but I feel like on this topic I can pretty much speak for everyone who played Fallen Order, was the navigation and traveling system within the game. Now, certain planets were fine. For example, Bogano was a fairly small planet and it was pretty easy to traverse. They had enough secret little areas that you could get to without it needing to be this like intricate pathway to actually get there. So there were some planets that were fine. I think Kashyyyk was also pretty easy to navigate for the most part. But when it comes to Zepho and even to an extent Dathomir, those maps were genuinely terrible when it came to actually finding out where you're meant to be, and not only finding out where you need to be, but actually getting there as well. I'm sure you guys will know exactly what I mean when I'm talking about Zepho. Some of those tomb areas were so confusing. There were multiple different paths, but they never ever led to where you actually needed to be. And then as soon as you thought you were on the right track, you would follow that path and then it would lead you to the whole other side of the planet. So for a lot of people, and probably myself included, it made the game somewhat unbearable for small periods of the game. Now overall, I don't think it affected the quality of the game. I still love Fallen Order. It didn't ruin the game or anything like that, but there definitely were a few periods in the game where I was so confused, and I think a little bit of mystery and confusion can work in a game's favor, but when it's that much, it made the game literally just not enjoyable during those moments. Now, like I said, it does seem as though Respawn have pretty much taken note of this, and they obviously would want to be fixing any of the main issues that Fallen Order had, and it does look like that isn't going to be an issue, at least not as much of an issue anyway, in Jedi Survivor. Now, the main three reasons to why I think this is going to be the case is two different things that we have seen within the gameplay and the trailers, and then one thing that hasn't actually officially been confirmed, but it was talked about by IGN just very briefly, and it has kind of gone under the radar. So the first thing that we clearly see in the trailer, and I don't actually think, now that I think of it, we don't see any in the gameplay that they gave us, but in that gameplay trailer we do see multiple moments of Cal actually riding different mounts. There's one moment where he's on the back of what looks to be some big like bird horse looking thing. I don't even know how to describe that. It's like some prehistoric emu or something, but he's riding around on that, and we also see him pretty much holding onto the legs of like a pterodactyl or something, and he's flying down to a different area of the map. So that's obviously going to be a mechanic within the game, whether you actually have to learn a skill, maybe you have to be able to tame those creatures before you can actually do it, or whether you can do it from the start of the game. I'm not too sure, but obviously having shown that, that will definitely be a mechanic in the game. And obviously when we see Cal riding that creature, it is moving a lot faster than he would probably run. So that right there does help fix a lot of that navigation, even if it was exactly like it is in Fallen Order. Just the fact that you can move faster means that you're obviously going to spend less time actually traveling around and trying to find where you need to be. Even if it is still terribly laid out and confusing, it's probably going to take you half the time to actually get there because you're moving twice as fast. So that one's really important. Another one that we have seen is that Cal obviously has some sort of grapple hook. We saw that in the first trailer, and then we do also see a little bit of gameplay in the most recent gameplay where Cal is using that grapple. And then on top of that, he also seems to climb around a lot faster than he did in Fallen Order, which I think is a good thing. It may look a little bit unrealistic, to be honest. He looks like bloody Spider-Man out there, but at the end of the day, we learned that skill in the first game. We don't need it to look super realistic and be all slow and annoying. I don't think anyone likes when there's mechanics like that that make you really slow, and yeah, they may look more realistic, but it doesn't serve any purpose in the game. So not only the grapple hook, but being able to move faster when you're climbing, that is a very important change. Something else though in regards to the grapple hook, and this isn't confirmed, so just this is a tinfoil hat theory at the moment, please do keep that in mind, but there's a few little sections of this gameplay where you can see these big, like, it almost looks like a floating bell or something in the sky, and there are sections where there are multiple of them actually lined up together, and I have a theory that these are going to be essentially grapple points, and we are going to potentially be able to do pretty much what Spider-Man does and do multiple grapples in a row, almost like your web slinging, for example. And the reason I think these are grapple points is because one of these that we see, you can see that there is like one of those wall running sections on the wall right next to it. So if that is the case, and if these are scattered around the map, then obviously that's going to help with a lot faster traversal. Instead of having to run to every different place that you go to, maybe you can get to a place through actually traveling, you know, walking along through the planet to actually get there, but then on the way back, they've got these grapple points set up that you can actually kind of take a shortcut back to the Mantis. So again, that isn't actually confirmed. We don't see him use any of those in that gameplay, but that is my theory there anyway. And we obviously know that he has the grapple hook regardless. So even that alone, he's still going to be moving around a little bit quicker. Now, something else that is, like I said, kind of going under the radar, and it went under the radar for me too, is that IGN has actually got an article on their website that says Jedi Survivor is actually getting fast travel. So this came out on February 7th, so this is before they started really posting all of that most recent gameplay and stuff like that. But one of their daily fixes says, in today's daily fix, the developers of Star Wars Jedi Survivor are listening to the fans and are adding a much requested feature, fast travel. Jedi Fallen Order required players to backtrack through much of the levels to visit places that they may have already been, even though other Souls-like games have some kind of fast travel feature. Developers on Jedi Survivor are looking to make navigating between the game's levels a little easier, either by fast travel or rideable mounts and vehicles. So it's kind of weird that they have pretty much themselves confirmed it. We haven't heard that from Respawn themselves, but obviously IGN has had inside access to actually play the game, and they've talked to the devs and stuff. So correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've seen official confirmation of this from Respawn themselves, but if IGN is so confident in saying this, and they've obviously been and played the game, then I'm going to assume this is confirmed. I don't really know. It's not, for me, it's not confirmed until I actually hear it from Respawn themselves, but it is definitely promising if IGN is so confident to say it. They haven't even speculated it. They've literally just said it is adding a much requested feature, which is fast travel. So if that is the case, that's going to be a huge dub for this game. That was something that really would have just fixed all the issues with Fallen Order. It doesn't even necessarily need to be fast travel, but just laying out their map so that when you finish some sort of mission, there is just a shortcut back to the Mantis. Most games you play where there are like boss fights and stuff, every time you get to a boss fight room, you fight the boss, you win, and then there's usually just like a door that you can pretty much walk through, and then a small little pathway in your back where you need to be straight away. So it doesn't even need to be fast travel, but obviously fast travel would be even better. Like I said, this isn't actually officially confirmed as far as I'm aware, but it definitely looks promising if IGN have talked about it. Now, those are the three things that I've obviously covered in this video and seen throughout some of these trailers and gameplay. I'm keen to hear your thoughts though on what else you guys think they could do to actually improve the traversal. These are only three of many different options that they could go with, so I'm definitely keen to hear your thoughts down in the comment section. Thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and may the Force be with you always.